This is Rich Feller in October of 2022, and I'm going to share with you a recording that we found from 1979 that has Flora Balloon Edwards interviewing Martha Feller Roscoe Fish about Adelphi and how our parents met many years ago. It's a little tough at the beginning, but I hope you'll find it useful.
Now, when Grandpa came to, after we know he was a Royal Canadian, he was just involved with the police. He was never police in New York or Long Island, you don't think, but I don't think so. But he just had them over for picnics. Yeah, he arranged their stuff, but he was never actually. You know what he was? Actually, by trade, a watchman. Oh, because I have a whole slew of lots in there. Yeah, but he had his own business card with Henry Wadsworth Graham. Your mother was Margaret Winifred. And she was This is a nice picture. You got that? No, I've never had that. I don't know where is he? No, I'm not alone before. These are nice. Oh, yeah, boy. That's what I was going to ask you. Do you remember, didn't somebody used to work at the Duran State and Garrison? You know what I mean? Who was that? You know, it was, I wasn't sure. So at one time, they probably lived in Garrison. They always thought your mother met your father in Cold Spring. Picture of the Duran. Was that my other grandfather? Do you remember the Duran Estate in Garrison? On the big hill? You know, we go, you know, the big castle is, yeah. It goes down on the other side of the road. I don't really remember. There's Martha Hill. Yeah. Yeah, wow, right, those two are so much alike. Yes, this is Howard. Oh, yeah, father, and this was the one, this was Bud, and my father, and we would cook some hot dogs. My father. And this is, no, we're not about this yet. Now, all the parents and the new people, yeah, she was like on together. We all have that whole. Remember? Yeah, that's the one he's got down there. And you know, he was such a nice man, but she was such, you know, she was a really nice, because she was so handicapped, and he was such a outgoing person and had all these friends and all these policemen and all these people like this. And she never left that weird chair. And she was always jealous. And there was some woman by the name of Irene that she was very jealous of. Irene. She had great kindness to the bear of Irene. But when you read the letters that his wife sent from Scotland, when are you coming home, Henry? When you coming home? I always told her that she should come to it. But I always say to her, she was. She tried to do it. We had a wonderful home, and I forgot what her name was. Helen's got those papers for me, so she's going to give them to you about it, because she, you know, her kids really don't want it either. She's more on the Feller side of the family to get things. And that's the fun part of it. So your mother and your father, they got engaged in New Jersey, but you know, Uncle Eddie must have lived in Cold Spring, wasn't he always? He always lived in Cold Spring. So I wonder where they would have met. That's where I thought that's the Duran Estate is where. I thought maybe at one time, maybe that's where Grandpa Brain was. Well, where was your mother? Do you remember? Do you know where your mother was born? Litchfield, or she always thought Mommy was born in Danbury. Maybe it was, right? That's true. Maybe it was. I don't know. I don't know for sure. No, I really don't know for sure. That part I can't. Here's the house where they were engaged, taken from the porch back December 31st, 1941. That's my mother's right. That's when they became engaged. That's the Jersey house. Remember I told you we were going to the brick? That was the house. I don't know where the heck that came from. Mrs. Sweetheart? My sweetheart, oh. My sweetheart. No, I really don't know that part. But that's, see the brick house from? That's part of the fireplace.
Did, the grandpa or grandma have any, do they have any, like mommy, would she have any aunts and uncles? Did they have any, and
Not that I know where.
as far as you know, he was there with their own, that was the only family. Yeah, I wasn't sure they had any, and you have no idea, well, did the letter say where in Scotland it came from, or was it just the letter that he got? The envelope? Edinburgh. Okay, and then you don't, so we don't know anything about, he must have went to Canada, where he was a
Yes.
Canadian mounted police.
Yes, he was. He was a Canadian, and he had lots of nice, certificates and awards from his duties. Yeah, he really got some nice awards, and also he was talking about Litchfield, Connecticut, and the hotel. The old governor stopped by or something. This is so fun. I found this.
Now, do you remember when mommy and daddy got married or anything about it? You just remember her telling you, sitting on the throne, that she was gonna get married.
And that was all you remember, that's all, but I didn't want to. And going down to Oyster Bay, which we always did in July, July the 12th is what we celebrate Orange. And, we'd always put a big to-do down there, and then I was always jealous of everybody that danced with me. But you know, she raised me until I was 6 years old. You gotta realize that. I had a broken arm in Adelphi. My mother never knew it. She came down to visit me. Then when your mother and father were married, I got dumped with my bare feet, and I got blood poisoning in my leg, and I still got the scar on my ankle bone. And we used to go down to Queens Village itself and go shopping on Friday. Your father worked for Scary Land. He got paid on Fridays. I was still going to Long Island as a child. It must have been Barbara and Jackie was there, but Jackie was there anyway. Because I used to get an ice cream soda into like a brewer's thing. And we used to go shopping on Friday night. My father used to babysit, my mother used to go. And that old car picture that you see was a car that was a burgundy color black car, and your mother drove the car. And I didn't know it had licenses. I don't know anything about that, but that was a nice car with a bullet.
Well, I can remember, didn't Adelphi have a great big driveway?
Yes, a winding driveway.
See, I can remember sitting on her lap driving the car. Do you all want to do that? Lighting her cigarette. She used to let us light, we'd take a cigarette in our mouth and she'd let us light it, and then we'd give it to her. And I can remember sitting on her lap and driving the car, I mean, just a little thing,
Yeah, but the steering wheel was very
up the hill
Yep.
to Adelphi. But I did not, for the life of me, ever remember getting any further than sitting on her lap and lighting a cigarette. I can't remember anything else. I can't remember anything else about it.
No, and she had the driveway came in and round the circle, it was all peach trees there. You see, when I go back far enough to remember, as you made that turn coming into Adelphi, there was a family by the name of Slater that lived on the other side of the fence. And Billy Slater and I were about the same age, and they had to play a piano, but the rolls and I remember going over there playing on the player piano. And I got there, I started making a hole under the fence and getting over there. And that became the parkway that used to go, what was the name of that?
Adelphi Park.
Adelphi Park was when the 3 ex-murders were committed. My mother was, when I was young, they called it the 3 ex-murders. Women were marked with X's with a knife or something. And we had all park? Yeah, they were found in Adelphi Park. But Adelphi, I think, was like 25 acres that were completely fenced in with prickers on the top of the fence. The fences would go like this. You know, the top of it would cross, and that would be sharp. We had a tennis court in the lower field. On the upper field, we had a cinder track. We had a tennis court. We had a hockey field, a football field and 2 baseball fields.
So basically what they did was they went to school at Adelphi,
In Garden City.
and they would take a bus over to here to play football games and soccer games, and so it was always busy.
Yeah, that's what it was for. That's why it was, Grandpa worked for it.
But wasn't there a picnic area off the parking lot that went down in the back?
That's what Grandpa built for his little, they had, he had the policemen, he had the mayors, he had every, like, we see it, Lions Club, Kiwanis Club, everything. They all had their picnics in the summer, always something about that. And Grandpa got the money for it. See, that was the,
So he rented out Adelphi to these organizations.
yes,
Very
quiet.
fields and their picnics for the day.
Yes, he used to pick the fields, and I used to go down strong times to make a find out it was all of it.
Now, he didn't have to, he didn't have to entertain anybody at the party, it wasn't part of it.
No, he used to have a little book. You know, used to engage the little picnic area, all the others played baseball, and he used to have regular picnic areas with benches and roofs on them and everything. He had all that stuff. He had all of that. He did it, he built it. When he used to do, I remember the baseball fields were awfully soft, dirt, soft clay or something. And when he used to have a tractor, and I used to always sit between his legs on the tractor, and the motor was like under the seat there, and there was a box. He used to get hot on it. But
That's how you got hot. Okay.
and what he used to do on the baseball diamonds and stuff, were to take a piece of board and take all these branches, take a board on the bottom, branches on the top, and a board on the top, and nail them together. And it was made of bush like in the back. And he carved that, and I used to sit on that to wait. I didn't know I was skinny.
And then they'd run over the field
Yeah,
with
they
it.
run over the field with it, and he used to have the tractor, and Tony went further, I never remember working. He used to do things, but Grandpa always ran the lawn mowers.
Would you have thought he was older than Grandpa?
Oh, yeah, he was great.
Oh, okay, so he was
He
real.
was old, I don't know whether he took him in at that. I don't know, but he used to help him. And Grandpa used to have hammocks, he had a hammock out by the hockey, because they played hockey. And it was down a little bed, and had a little shelter, we had a hammock in there. And I used to bring what we would call a aluminum milk container that they get milk in, you know, from a farm. Used to be lemonade your mother would put in there.
Probably with some honey.
And then, you know, and he sent, one time he sent me down to get some lemonade. He was laying in his hammock like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And there was a man down there. I got my little tin of lemonade, and he says, "Where's your granddad?" I said, "Oh, he's up sleeping." And I was the president of college. And there's Grandpa laid out in the hammock. I never let me forget that, but we used to pick the mushrooms off the field, and Mother used to make fried mushrooms and butter on toast for lunch. That's it. We used to get them right out of the field.
I remember your father used to do that a lot. He used to like, I said, you know,
I did, I love mushrooms. Oh, I love it.
know which ones to pick.
Yeah, but you'd have those toasters, you know, those puffs, those white puff balls, and you kick them all on the field. But I had my swings, and I had everything that my dad had. Those are the best years of my life that I remember. And my mother always had, to me, she always had good hair. Always had good hair. I never knew that, and I
Your
never.
mother, you had it, well, that it was, your mother had it with me because.
No, she had it with me.
Yes,
But
she
you
had
know,
it.
I
So I
never
remember.
remember her doing anything but taking care of her parents. She took care of her parents. Nobody else did it. And then I remember my mother and father went there. When you kids were small.
Down in Adelphi, you said.
And then they went someplace else, I don't know where it was. Because Uncle Charlie and Aunt Evelyn were living on Prospect Street. They never knew. They were good?
Yeah.
Well, they have a good, but I mean, that's the, I don't know what else I had in here for you. I was in here. That must be something. What's the point of it? Retirement party probably can pay it from me, they're meeting up to. And then you have the payment, upstate, and we have the party, for him and we go down. There's some of this stuff I don't. Father's Day, 40th anniversary party. Yeah, I don't know. No bottom line. Oh, I gotta tell you something too that I found last night, but I just started looking at this thing. The other ones I pulled out from home. Last night. And I was checking her, I had 2 months bank statements or 3 months bank statements, and these were the checks I filled out.
You know what they ask you, do you think mommy and
And
Mary,
who are they all signed by? I never got, they had a nice one, checks. She paid for it, all the work, and every other way. And then Richard.
pick the board, the last one, that one, this one. We have a newspaper clipping, October 28, 1948. Mr. and Mrs. Edward Feller, son Robert, and daughter Helen, formerly of Parsonage Street, have moved to Queens Village, Long Island. Mr. and Mrs. Charles Feller now occupy the Parsonage Street residence. Oh, and then the other, no, sorry, I want to ask.
Yeah.
You know where they went to school? You know where Mommy or Aunt Mary, you know, where Aunt Mary went to school?
They went to the Garrison School at one time, that little one-room schoolhouse on the way there to, you know, on. Yeah, well, you went to school.
It's Brett, the
Yeah.
Duran's and,
They must have lived, you come to think of it, they must have.
Right, yeah,
they did, right.
and Aunt Mary, what was the guy she lived with? Charlie, somebody. Do you remember his name? Do you remember his name, Bart? Huh. You don't remember much about Aunt Mary, huh? You said she's already married Uncle
Yeah, she was
Tom.
always married to Uncle Tom and Uncle John. Bobby was not her son.
Yeah, right, yeah, that.
But I used to go to Aunt Mary's, I used to stay there and go there on weekends.
Yeah, when they lived in Long Island. Oh,
Right.
yeah, in the trailer.
No, this is a house
Well, we used to
out in
go,
the country.
we used to go visit her all the time when she was up in the trailer park. I remember that.
No, this is the first.
Now, she had breast cancer, right? She had, do you remember anything about her?
Yes, and she actually got killed, it was in the very days in the back of the neck, and she was trying to take cancer.
But she had both her parents coming up at one time from breast cancer. She also had TB, right? Was she the one?
Yes, she was the one with the tuberculosis.
And she was put away once, right? She was in like a home or something because of
She was
tuberculosis.
a TB home.
And then she died in St. Francis from a cancer and
He was a very big one to the neck and brain.
well, she wasn't at home when she died.
I don't remember that.
I thought you guys would know, because we went up there a lot. Yeah, but you don't know whatever happened to him. I mean, whether he left her before she got real sick. I can always remember, I remember your mother being mad about it. And I remember her being upset about how to mark her headstone. You know, she was sure she wasn't gonna put, I know she never married him, but
Yeah.
she had been with him, I think, for a while. And I remember your mother being mad, and I kept thinking myself it was because when she got sick, he deserted her, but I can't ever remember. I remember it was Charlie, I think.
Now, do you have the Charlie's right? That's Alan's name. Okay. Yeah, that was what do you have on the tombstone in the cemetery? Do you have your mother and father marked in one stone?
But hers is, it's labeled, it's
John Falloon and Margaret
Ray,
Graham.
his wife,
Oh,
and his wife,
Then
and
Mary
Mary played ball.
on the same.
They're next to each other.
Yeah, they're next to each other.
Yeah, mommy and daddy are on the same
I
page.
gave you all those stories, I gave you all the cemetery newspapers you got me. I gave you everything.
And then Aunt Mary has her own, but hers is.
Yeah. That was how it ran, yeah. Aunt Mary was a beautiful singer.
Oh, really? Did anybody else play the organ? I know you said you played. Anybody who played in that? Anybody?
I don't know, just there. But Aunt Mary had a beautiful voice, and she always used to sing the song with the rose of train.
Nobody noticed.
She used to sing Denver and Rose of Train. And beautiful Gwen's favorite hymn was In the Garden. And I've mentioned it before. Oh, you'll love it, voice, you know. His beautiful voice. I used to sleep, lay down with him every night and tell me stories, which some of them probably were. Of his,
When he's in Canada.
But we've got to sometimes get those orders. Well, when I see Helen, she would have brought them up to me. Yeah. She was.
Huh.
She said, yeah, she's right there. She said, because we don't. Okay. I have nothing else that. Those are what grandmother's dishes. And if they have to, now, Flora, by taking those pictures and stuff that I made for you, it gives you a little bit of an idea, and Jackie should remember some of it.
Well, Barbara, I didn't think she remembered anything. I'm surprised. I honestly didn't think she remembered anything. It seemed to me that we were out of there, so that we weren't very old when we left there, so I didn't think they would remember, because I didn't remember anything. I'm not very good at it.
40. You were born
43.
Mary Jane, 45. Oh, yeah, that's when Jackie was born. 37.
No, it's only a year and 9 months ago, so he would have been born in 39.
38. 38. Well, I was born 31. I mentioned 37. I was and Jackie was born. Yeah, lost one.
Jackie moved in, you were out.
Yeah, but your mother did have the largest heart that they ever record.
Well, at one time, I was going to call Dr. Lasardi. What's her name? One of the ladies from the church down in Postville used to work there. And, I thought after Lasardi got sick and stuff and went out of business, I would have loved to have gotten all these medical records. Because I remember her telling us that she was, first of all, very unusual. But I have absolutely, we have no medical history for our family.
Nothing?
I mean, what do we know? You know,
But I know the genes with the cancer, I can tell you, run from sister to sister more than mother to daughter, is what I was told.
oh, really? Well, I know I'm a high risk. I always tell them about Aunt Mary.
Yeah.
Because I
You're
know
a
she,
high risk. Yeah,
and,
like I was a high risk.
and I know because of Aunt Mary, I assume that's the
But I don't
story.
think it's not for that.
They are. Your mother's sisters are important to your
Your
history.
your medical history.
Right.
And that's what I have to tell them. Then Helen has to tell them about, me, because sister to sister, that's why we tested. And we both have such training.
Oh, well, I had just one more question about your mother. Did they label her as dying from something, or she just, it wasn't like her heart,
No,
giving her problems,
she just died.
it wasn't anything medical that we used.
No, not medical, but she had everything like hernia, she had this, she had that, she had everything else.
But she had nothing that they
She
could say.
dehydrated from a fever. The fever went up so high and she got dehydrated.
Well, I just wanted to.
Yeah, that's good for history.